Because what it does is it puts Coach Prime in a good light. It gives people the opportunity to say something nice about Coach Prime, but that's not the agenda. Their agenda is not to make Coach Prime look like a decent human being. Their agenda is not to make Coach Prime look nice and a good person. Their agenda is to paint Coach Prime as a villain, a bad guy.
Hey guys, what's going on? Thank you for clicking on this video. I really appreciate it. I just wanted to highlight something real quick before we get into this video. I just wanted to say thank you to all of the new subscribers and some of those guys who are resubscribing, who had left and are resubscribing. I want to say thank you. I do get your messages. We are at 12,900. We need just about 100 more to get over to 13,000. So if you haven't subscribed and this is your second video or your third or even more video, could you please do me a favor and let's get over the hump this week, guys. Let's get this channel to 13,000 subscribers, because I tried my best. I tried to do a good job on bringing pertinent information. I try to bring information that's going to either help the fan base or at least educate the fan base as much as I can. Please go ahead and subscribe and help this channel to grow. Even if I'm not your favorite, please just subscribe, okay? I know you subscribe to other channels that you don't favorite that much. I mean, so give me a chance. Because of the nature of the video that I'm about to do, guys, let's go ahead and just play the intro. Let Shador tell you who we are around here, and then I'll just go straight into the video, okay? Let's go.
BWB, bandwagon bus.
That's right! It's your man's Harry Billion. Thank you for tuning in to the newsroom with an excerpt from the New York Daily News. An e-bike rider was killed in a crash with an SUV driver in Brooklyn. But let's turn our attention now to some more positive news coming out of Boulder, Colorado, where Deion Sanders, aka Coach Prime, is doing some wonderful things off the field. In this segment, what we're calling Keeping It Fair and Balanced, where with Deion Sanders, everything is breaking news. In the spirit of keeping it fair and balanced, we want to give you something more positive on things that Coach Prime is doing off the field. And for this one, we're going to throw it over to TLP Sports Club, where Harry B is going to give you the news. The Athletic did a hit piece interviewing students that some didn't even see the playing field. Some never even played for Coach Prime. But Coach Prime doing his job as a head coach, telling some young men, we're trying to play a certain level of college football that you cannot adhere to, or we don't believe you fit the mode of college football that we are playing right now. And it will be in your best interest to find yourself a place that fits better your mode of college football. These are decisions that head coaches make all the time. But you know what? Coach Prime always gets called out when things like this break. The Athletic is going to go out there and seek a bunch of students, interview them, because they have an agenda. When we call y'all out and say y'all have an agenda, y'all say, oh no, that was a great piece. You got Josh Pate and other people saying, well, no, that was a great piece. Go read it. It was a great piece. If it's not a hit piece, if it's not a hit job, then why is it that their news reporting is never consistent? Why is it that bench warmers, they get to have a microphone put in front of them to talk about how disgruntled or how Coach Prime did not treat them with A+ treatment? When you do reporting like that, and then something like this happens, Colorado student athletes' second highest term GPA in CU football history, only bested by GPA during 2023 spring semester. The 3.025 cumulative GPA above 3.0 for the first time in CU history. Coach Prime is making history at Colorado. His son made history. QB1, Shador Sanders made history on the field. Coach Prime is not just making history on the field, he's making history off the field as well. But these type of news barely make headlines. They leave it up to the YouTubers to kind of find stories like this and report it. When it's salacious, everybody has an opinion. Where are all of the opinions when something like this is posted? I need opinions on this as well. That's what I said in this post. That was the spirit of this post. This is real breaking news. But guess what, guys? Obviously, there are people out there that don't agree that this should be breaking news as well. If you're going to seek out those young men who are leaving Colorado and interview them, if everything is going to be breaking news, as if other young men don't leave other universities or other programs, right? You don't go interviewing them. You don't do that. It's because you want to hit on Coach Prime. You want to say that something is wrong with Coach Prime and something is wrong over here. That's your agenda. That's propaganda. agenda. Those are the things that you are doing, that the media is doing to say how bad Coach Prime is. I keep telling y'all, I know about this media game. I know what they're trying to do. And every time they do it, I'm going to call them out here on TLP Sports Club. So I posted this, and some people obviously have an issue with it. Why would you have an issue with this? Because you just don't like for people to say anything good about Coach Prime. When it's salacious, you're all in the comments, oh my gosh, I can't believe he would do all of that. I can't believe he would treat those young men like that. Oh my gosh, Louis Luggage, why he telling those kids to leave? Do you know how hard it is to get a 3.0 at a junior college level, let alone at any other university, let alone at a place like CU that has such a hard curriculum? To get a 3.0 above average, C is an average, 3.0 is above average. You know how hard it is to accomplish that? This is the real news that everybody should be clamoring for. This is the stuff that should be making headlines as well. I ain't saying don't get your clicks and views and stuff like that, because I know when it bleeds, it leads. All right? This is the stuff I get in New York all the time. E-bike rider killed in crash with SUV driver in Brooklyn. This is the kind of stuff we get all the time. But when it's this stuff right here, when a young man leave and they're crying and say, oh my gosh, Coach Prime didn't give me a hug. He was a black man and I thought I was a black man, him being a Christian and I'm being a Christian also. I thought we were going to bond. We were going to hold hands and sing Kumbaya and go skipping on the beach. And that didn't happen. So I felt some kind of way. He didn't roll out the red carpet for me and I felt some kind of way. That's the stuff that we want to report. So all I said was, hey man, if you're going to break everything as news, anything that's happening, even with the students that they never play on the field, I mean, third stringers, fourth stringers, guys that were told to leave way before Coach Prime even got to say, hey guys, let's go practice. Guys that were told to leave, they're being interviewed. You're not doing that. You're not being consistent. I'm just trying to hold y'all accountable and say, okay, if you're going to be reporting the bad stuff, if you're going to say that Coach Prime is doing these kids wrong, then why don't you say Coach Prime is doing these kids right by making sure they're going to class and holding them accountable to make sure that they get good grades? Why wouldn't you do that? Also, if you don't do that, it makes it seem as if you have an agenda against Coach Prime. That is why I'm always saying this stuff. It's one-sided news reporting. Report the good and the bad so that it'll send the message as if you're not being partial on just the bad. Your hit pieces would not be called hit pieces. That's all I was saying. But here we go. Some people just got mad and they just couldn't take it, so I had to make this video. I said I was going to go in, so here we go. Let's look at the comments on this right here. You get a lot of good comments, but there's always a few people that just don't understand what you're trying to display, the English you're speaking, maybe the broken English because I'm Liberian, West African, maybe my New York accent, Maryland accent, maybe it creeps up into my writing and people just don't get it. So let's start with this one right here. Redbone 228, 17 hours ago when this video was posted. Why should this be on major news outlets when other college athletes are doing better? Y'all make a big deal out of anything when it comes to CU. That's the first one I want to take. I'm not just cherry picking. There's a lot of great comments on this video. The whole idea of that is because they report everything else. When we say this is a hit piece, Redbone 228 and others will come out and say, oh no, that was a great story. All of the young men have a right to tell their stories. That's what they keep telling us. Okay, I understand that. But as a news outlet, as journalists, you're not supposed to try to make the news. You're supposed to report the news. So when you do pieces like that, we're going to call it a hit piece because when stuff like this comes out, we don't see you being consistent with your reporting because what it does is it puts Coach Prime in a good light. It gives people the opportunity to say something nice about Coach Prime, but that's not the agenda. Their agenda is not to make Coach Prime look like a decent human being. Their agenda is not to make Coach Prime look nice and a good person. Their agenda is to paint Coach Prime as a villain, a bad guy, a guy that's a clown with all of the cameras. Their agenda is to disparage Coach Prime, everything he's doing, and say how terrible he is as a coach and how terrible he is also as a human being. They're trying to paint this picture and they're trying to get you in your psyche to say things that are undesirable about Coach Prime. Because the second that they say this, the second that the national media says, we're always reporting the bad. So in this instance, let's go ahead and keep it fair and balanced. And let's report something good that Colorado is doing under Deion Sanders' leadership. When you do that, people will start to see. We're not going to hide this kind of stuff here in the back pages of the local media. We're going to highlight it, just like you highlight the kids that leave and never saw the field under Coach Prime's leadership. You don't do the same thing with other universities, but you will do it with Coach Prime because you got a picture to paint. Well, I'm trying to repaint that picture. That's what I'm trying to do, Redbone. That's why it should be there. If the media does not report grades, then that's fine. But this really doesn't have much to do about the grades as much as it has to do with painting a positive picture about Coach Prime. Because I can tell you how you can spin the story if you're not allowed as the media to cover grades. If you're not allowed to do that, which I know you are because you do that all the time, I know how you can spin this story to make it look like Coach Prime is doing something nice because you know how to spin stories. That's what you do all the time. So I need you to spin this story. You can say Coach Prime is doing some great things at Colorado because his young men are doing very well in the classroom. They posted a grade of blah, 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 cumulative grade. But that's why I said they need to post that as well. Redbone, fair and balanced. That's what I'm here on this channel. Somebody said, oh, Harry B, you're drawing me back in because your positive coverage on CU now, you're drawing me back in. So apparently they left because they heard me say something that wasn't so positive. Maybe I called out Coach Prime and I was like, Coach Prime, my Christian ears don't like that. And they don't like me calling out Coach Prime. So I just respectfully told them I'm fair and balanced here. If Coach Prime and one of the young men say or do something that just doesn't rub me the right way, I'm going to say something. That's what you call fair and balanced. I'm going to speak my mind. I'm going to say, no, I don't like that. There are some people in the CU universe, in the fan base, that don't like you to do that. But I say, I don't care. I'm going to do it anyway because I don't answer to nobody over there at CU. I don't answer to nobody in the fan base. I answer to God alone. If God says, no, don't do that, go ahead and pray, I'm going to pray. If God said, I need you to speak on this, I'm going to speak on it because there are people that need to understand that that's not good behavior. If God tells me to move, I move. But when there's good things to say, I'm going to say it. So I'm not one of these channels that's going to be a pom-pom holder that's going to be shaking the pom-pom and trying to feed into your, oh, I need good Coach Prime news, or I don't like you. If you don't like me, then I'm okay with you not liking me. But my character, my morals, and everything at the end of the day will stay intact no matter what. And I don't answer to Coach Prime or anybody else. Nobody else. But here we are. I'm always balanced. If we can speak positively about Coach Prime, I'm going to do that. But the media has an agenda to tear this man down, Redbone. So it's not just Redbone, it's another person. Let's go to theirs. So this user right here is the one that really got me to do this video. This one right here. All caps. When somebody's putting out all caps, they're angry, they're loud, they want you to feel their venom. They want you to feel something. All caps. So here we go. When has the media ever posted or talked about student athlete grades, good or bad? Shaking my head. SMH. ... Dude, shaking my head. How long have you been watching college athletics? The media will never lead a newscast because a player raised his GPA to 3.0. Wow. I'm like, bruh, like, are you serious right now? Are you serious right now? Like, are we really serious about this? The media will never, ever say anything about GPA. Never happens in the media. Come on now. You've never heard a commentator say, well, he got a 4.0, or they're really smart in the classroom, they are a 4.0 student, blah, 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 blah. You never heard that. Jay, John, you never heard this. Again, I'm going to tell you like I told Redbone. First of all, at the end of the day, forget about what the media never does. And I want you to focus on what the media has been trying to do to Coach Prime. Smear his name, paint a picture that he's not a good person, try to lead people who already hate him to further agree with them how bad of a person he really is. That's what they try to do in the media. They try to do this character assassination. The media is great for character assassination. When there is a sentiment out there and there are people out there who agree on something, the media knows that's red meat. The media knows that's bait. They're going to use that and write stories because we don't get no breaking news on any other schools, players who have left and jumped into the transfer portal. We don't get no big news pieces, interviews from them. We don't get that stuff. But for some odd reason, it's always with Coach Prime. So that's why I said fair and balanced. Stay consistent so that we'll know that you're actually reporting the news and you're not trying to make the news. Because when you start making the news, you're no longer a journalist. You're an opinion leader. You are an influencer of opinions. That's what you're doing. That's not journalistic integrity when you're trying to make the news. Propaganda news. I've made a couple of videos talking about that. But here I go again. I had to make this video also. But there's more. So I did a little bit of research. You knew I was going to do it. If the media is not interested interested in grades, if they're not really interested in grades and they don't really talk about it, then how do you explain this? Academic All-America Team selected by CSC, honoring outstanding academic and athletic achievement by student athletes throughout the landscape of college sports since 1952. Academic All-America. College Sports Communicators, Academic All-America Team 2023. This stuff is out there. This stuff is actually a thing. This is a thing. I didn't know that this was a thing, but this is actually a thing. They actually collect information and they put it out there. They keep records of grades and they actually put it out there, and they've been doing this since 1952. CSC is College Sports Communicators. It's either Adams or Odunzi, depending on how they pronounce it in the media. Reeve, Grover, and Meisinger highlight 2023 Academic All-America football teams. 4 talented student athletes highlight 2023 football Academic All-America teams. That's Rome Odunzi, Nolan Reeve, Owen Grover, Jaden Meisinger. Wide receiver Rome Odunzi from the University of Washington, linebacker Nolan Reeve from the Colorado School of Mines, linebacker Owen Grover from Wartburg College, and running back Jaden Meisinger from Kaiser University led the Academic All-America teams by being named as the Academic All-America Team Member of the Year for the NCAA Division I, II, and III, as well as the NAIA, respectively. One of 3 finalists for the 2023 Biletnikoff Award and a 2-time All-American Rome Odunzi led the Huskies receiving corps with 92 receptions for 1,640 yards and 13 touchdowns in 15 contests. The 1,640 receiving yards led Division I and were a program record, while the 92 catches fell too shy of the school mark. The Las Vegas native recorded 10 100-yard receiving games this fall as Washington reached the national championship game and finished with a 14-1 record. 15 of the 51 members of the Academic All-America Division I football teams boast a perfect 4.0 grade point average in their undergraduate work or graduate school. The 27 members on the first team have an average GPA of 3.85, with both teams holding a collective average GPA of 3.83. 4 student athletes are repeat selections on the Academic All-America Division I football teams: Kyle Ostendorp, University of Arizona; Spencer Jorgensen, Stanford University; Wiley Shipley, Clemson University;
And Zach Zinter, University of Michigan.
So let's look at the first team, guys. These are the first teamers. First person on here, quarterback Bo Nix, University of Oregon. 3.62 or 3.91. Major, Communications Public Relations. Will Shipley, running back, Clemson University. 4.0, Management. Running back Bucky Irvin, University of Oregon. 3.63, Family and Human Services. Tight end, Ben Sinnott, Kansas State University. 3.81, Marketing. Wide receiver Rome Odunzi. I still feel like that's Odunzi. I think that's Rome Odunzi. That sounds like an African name. That's Odunzi. University of Washington. 3.51, History and Communications. Wide receiver Malik Washington, University of Virginia. 3.73 or 4.0, Higher Education. Offensive line, Cooper Beebe, Kansas State University. 3.83, Social Studies Education. Offensive line, Zach Zinter, University of Michigan. Sports Management. Offensive lineman, Seth McLaughlin, University of Alabama. 4.0 or 3.65, Finance. Offensive lineman Zach Frazier, West Virginia University. 3.88, Sports Management. Eric Miller, University of Louisville. 4.0, 4.0, Distilled Spirits. What? You're studying distilled spirits? What's that about? Somebody explain that to me in the comments, please. Defensive back Cole Wisniewski, North Dakota State University. 4.0, Business Administration and Marketing. Defensive back Bo Freiler, Iowa State University. 3.9, Kinesiology. Defensive back Travis Hunter, University of Colorado. 3.64, Psychology. And the rest of you guys, congratulations. Travis Hunter makes the first team Academic All-America team. First team. Coach Prime, that's one of his players. We can't say enough about Travis Hunter. He leads on the field and off the field. He ain't got to say much. He leads by example. He has the grades. He made the first team Academic All-America. He's on the front cover of EA Sports NCAA Football 25. He buys his mom's house. He represents Colorado in the right way. He's not out there cutting up. He sets an example for young people to get the grades. This is news. This is breaking news, guys. Under Coach Prime's leadership, this is news. See, you can't say, oh, that's Travis Hunter. That's not Coach Prime. You don't get to choose what's good for Prime and what's bad for Prime. You got to report it all. Just report it. Just say, this is what's happening under Coach Prime's tutelage. This is what's happening under his leadership. Coach Prime is setting examples for young men academic All-America team. Did anybody from your favorite team make this list? And I must say, a bunch of old linemen, they be locked in doing their work. Look at all of these old linemen. Old linemen are locked in. Defensive line, they're locked in as well. These are the type of things that go unreported. You're not going to see headlines on these things, but you know who we're going to track down? You know the type of stories we're going to track down to report and make headlines? The salacious stories. Xavier said that Coach Prime didn't treat him right. Coach Prime treated him like an extra in a movie. Destroying guys' confidence. Those are the things we like to hear because it's red meat for the people that don't like him. Destroying guys' confidence. Telling guys they're not good enough. Doing locker room talk. When you're on that field, when guys are telling you can't hold them, you can't guard them. Doing the type of talking that you're going to get on that field when guys say you're too small. LeBron James, when they score a point and they put their hands on the floor or at least towards the floor and say you're too small, I'm strong, you're not strong enough. When you do that kind of talking on the field, you joust with some of these young men, the news outlets are going to go do interviews and say guys' confidence were being destroyed because you were telling them that they were not good enough. When did locker room talk, football talk, when was that not okay? When was that a confidence killer? Because what I remember and what I know is when I'm out there on the court, when I'm out there playing pickup basketball or we just playing around, when somebody tells me I ain't good enough, I say, all right, then let's go. If somebody tells me, bro, you can't guard me, I guard them even harder. Pause. When somebody says I ain't strong enough, I show them that I am good enough and how much stronger I am than they can even understand. And then they're surprised about my abilities. Oh, shoot. I didn't even know. That's right. So talk your trash. When was trash talking a destroyer of confidence? That was supposed to be something to elevate your thinking, get you up and going. Show me what you all about, but not the way we look at it. You know how we look at it? Oh my gosh, he was destroying guys' confidence, telling them that they're not good enough. So, John, when has the media ever posted or talked about student athletes' grades, good or bad? I mean, they got a whole academic America team. My goodness. Dude, it's a thing since 1952. It's a thing. Don't test my gangster. I keep telling y'all, do not test my research gangster. Don't do it, bruh. I'm going to make y'all famous out here. It's a thing. It's literally a thing. Academic All-America team selected by CSC. College sports communicators. So I'm not crazy, right? I'm not crazy by saying, why are y'all not talking about this? It's a thing. 1952 is a long time. Somebody's probably been talking about this longer than 1952, but it's a thing. Hey, John, you want to test my gangster again? They literally have it as a thing. It's a badge of honor that the media will report about. I'm not just pulling this stuff out of my tail end. It's literally a thing. They honor these guys. They say, oh my goodness, these guys are doing phenomenal in the classroom, and they want the world to know that this is a thing. It's a thing. I had this information before I even read his comments. I had this information locked and loaded. Listen, treat me as a battle rapper, bruh. I ain't a rapper and I ain't no battle rapper, but the way that I approach things on this here internet, just think of me as one of your best battle rappers, all right? Math Hopper, or just name your current solo. Is it Oso or Solo? Just name your favorite battle rapper. Math is doing podcasts now, so I don't know when was the last time he battled, but when it comes to this here research thing, you don't want to test my gangster, because I had this in the chamber waiting for y'all comments. I had this locked and loaded and said, just in case anybody want to test my gangster, I will have this ready to go. And then it did it. And then I read this comment. I said, okay, you want to test my gangster? Let's go. When has the media ever posted or talked about student athletes' grades, good or bad? Shaking my head. Dude. Bruh, don't be naive out here, bruh. Remember the name, Harry Bizzle. Harry Billion. All right, John, don't do that again. They want to put it out there in the world that these are academic All-American athletes. And next time you're watching or listening to a football cast, simulcast, broadcast, or whatever it is, just listen keenly. You will hear the announcers and the people that talk, the commentators. You will hear them say, every now and then they'll throw in there a GPA, like how smart one of the Stanford players are, or how smart one of the Colorado players are, how he made a 3.0 this year, or how Travis Hunter got a 4.0. They'll say that stuff every now and then, but because you don't hear it doesn't mean it doesn't happen. If a tree falls in the forest, guy, I'm always listening. So it's always making a sound. I'm always right there, ready to go. I can hear it, John. When a tree falls in the forest, it says, doom, TLP Sports Club. It's right there. My point was not that they're going to lead this with a newscast. That was not my point. My point is just keep it fair and balanced. Report it. But I don't know why you are so upset. Let's read some of the good ones. Smart, tough, fast, disciplined with character. Janet G. Pratt says, commendable. Great job and a realized testimony that pressure makes diamonds. Wonderful achievement. Prime aim playing games about footwork and bookwork. Feels so real. Great job, guys. Life is more than football, so make the most of this opportunity. Handle business in the class and go handle business on the field. Excellent. I absolutely love it. Yes, sir. Discipline in the classroom. Hopefully it transfers to discipline on the field. Congratulations. The grind doesn't stop nor rest. We need this to go viral. Congratulations to all Go Buffs. That's what's up. We'll end with Indira Stone, 7382. Football ends for most student athletes after their senior year of college. Coach Prime is preparing young men for success in life when football ends. When the shock of the NIL money comes to an abrupt halt, these men aren't going to be the former star athletes that end up being lost after football. They're being given everything they need to succeed in life after football. Dara Stone. It's important that we say these type of things, that we do these type of videos, that we say, hey, Coach Prime is doing good. Coach Prime is doing a lot of good in Colorado. Instead of us having this photo of him just being an antagonist, him just being terrible for young men, that photo you have in your head that just keeps on spinning, and anytime you hear something negative, you just go running for it just so you can confirm or just so it can affirm the feeling that you already have for him. Instead of that, I want you to take this video and put that in your cranium so that it can erupt in there. It can stir up in your spirit, in your soul, so that next time something bad starts to creep up, you will say, oh no, Coach Prime is doing a lot of good as well. Do not test my research, gangster, because I'm vicious with this. Listen, if it's bad, I'll say it's bad. If it's good, I'll pull out my pom-poms. This is my team, Colorado. I'm a BWB because of Coach Prime. I'm bandwagon buff. You see, the thing about our heroes is we want our heroes to be perfect. Some of us don't want to hear anything bad about our heroes, but some of us don't mind holding our heroes accountable. I can hold my hero accountable, but when it's time for me to give my heroes their flowers, I do videos like this. And with that being said, I'll leave it right there. And I'm going to see you, get it? See you on the next video. Okay?